Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help.
Time is running out to see Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This moving exhibition of painting, poetry, and installation art explores memory's fragility and strength, honoring stories passed through generations. The show closes December 13th, so don't miss your chance to experience this transformative work. Visit All My Relations Arts before it's gone. Learn more about exhibition hours and events at allmyrelationsarts.org.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulio. A winter storm warning is in effect. Rain changes over to snow tonight with an overnight low of 26. Then Wednesday, cloudy with a high of 29. Eat Local Minnesota restaurants are perfect for any holiday gathering this winter, from friends or family to a work event. Check out the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, I just want to say today we're going to have a great show here. We're going to have the CEO of Emerge Wisconsin, Arvina Martin, on just in a few minutes. And as you probably know, she's the first Native person ever elected in the Madison, Wisconsin Common Council. And she's our Wisconsin, well, I don't want to say spy, but maybe just, we'll be talking about Wisconsin things. And, we're all over civic media in the Twin Cities and Michigan and Illinois. So it's always great to have another angle of what's happening around Turtle Island and especially in our Midwest area. Also, I want you all not to forget this Saturday, November 29th, at the Pillsbury Auditorium, we're celebrating Native American Heritage Month with Minneapolis Institute of Art. We'll be screening Smoke Signals, and mark your calendars and join us for this powerful event. This show totally It was out in 1996, this movie, and it still holds well. And I will be emceeing this, and we'll have a Q&A session with Dr. Evan Adams, who played Thomas, and really excited to have Dr. Adams in town, not only to talk about smoke signals and all the other things that he's acting, but I mean, he's a big doer up in Canada with as a doctor. So that's really going to be exciting to have him on. Also, I just want to remind everyone, we Native Roots Trading Post is at the Dayton's Market in downtown Minneapolis. Also, you can get all our swag on Cause Cart. You'll be here, you hear the ads here, Cause Cart, and I know there's a lot of people that are wondering where they can get the swag. Also, Southdale, where Wendy has her art out there. It's amazing art, animals. She has prints, cards, and we do have some wild rice out there too from Leech Lake. So go on out there to Southdale, which was the first mall ever in the United States. I just wanted to bring that again. And then today is the beginning of the mass blackout. So from November 25th to December 2nd. So it's a good idea to possibly, buy things from people that are making things, not these big corporations, and support local artists and things like that. So go down to Dayton's and Southdale and we all have all these native markets coming up too that always support our native artists, and always ask them who made this. And if they can't tell you, it's probably somebody in China. So support our native artists. I'm going to bring our friend Arvina on, and looks like she's chewing something here. So maybe I'll wait a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Arvina Martin, CEO of Emerge. Thank you so much for coming on. As always, it's just amazing to have you on, and a lot going on. I know we had a big ice raid in the east side of St. Paul today, and it's
Oh, goodness.
happening. Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Native Roots Radio, and it seems like forever since I've seen you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here, coming to you live from Chicago.
Wow. What's
Yeah.
happening in Chicago?
I had some days off and I needed to change up my routine, so I'm, in Chicago and doing some holiday shopping and, going to visit places we don't have in Madison.
Right on. That's awesome. Definitely we're people listen to us out in Chicago, so that's a great time. And I used to go once a month to Chicago when I was a legislator for Ho Chunk Nation.
Yay, area meetings.
I love the Windy City. Well, a lot going on. I don't know where we start. Maybe just to update, what's happening with Emerge. I know we have a lot of great things happening. Can you catch us up again? We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, so Emerge has our application deadline for the class of 2026 is November 30th. So it is this Sunday. We encourage anybody, and I am specifically shouting out my Native sisters and my non-binary siblings who are Democrats who want to run for office. Come apply for this program. A lot of times people think they need to have fancy degrees or, really big time jobs to serve on elected bodies. And really, we need people from so many different perspectives. And very specifically, our Native voices are not present at a lot of these discussions, and we need them. So think about running for office. If you are in Wisconsin and a Native woman or non-binary person, please reach out to me. Send me an email at Arvina, ARVINA, at emergewi.org. If you are outside of Wisconsin or if you are male, you can still email me, and I will try to hook you up with the best training I can find for you so that you are prepared as well. Even if I can't train you myself.
That's awesome. And, one of the things, I read your bio before you came on, and one of the things is you've been working in politics and with Native communities all your working career. And so that's exciting. And people, and for me, it was fun too, because people know who you are, and it's always fun to go, I know Arvina. She's on my Facebook, so I kind of try and jump into your spotlight. But
Oh,
you're
shucks.
you're a doer, and we really appreciate you being on here on Native Roots Radio and talking about things. And we'll get back to Emerge too later on the
Yeah.
show. I think we'll talk some more deep things about Emerge. And I just wanted to start us off. We only got a couple more minutes here. There's so much going on. One of the things that's kind of shocked me with everything that's going on, there are nationally Republicans that are looking to retire early. So we might have a blue tsunami before the blue tsunami.
I mean, there's so much happening now, and I do think that the resignation of Marjorie Taylor Greene from Congress is definitely a sign of things to come. I think I'm simultaneous, and there needs to be a word for this in English. I feel like the Germans or maybe the Japanese have a word for it. The feeling when you are super surprised, but at the same time completely not surprised, like that very specific feeling. That's how I felt when I heard about her resignation. I think that the president's hold on members of his party is starting to show cracks in the facade. And I think that we are going to see, like you said, more people saying they're not going to be running for re-election, or people breaking stance with the president on something. And I think that the Epstein stuff is just kind of the beginning, and people, at least I hope that people are going to feel more emboldened to stand their ground on issues where they don't align with the president.
Yeah, and it's finally, and has it taken the Epstein files? Has it taken his senility? I mean, is it a combination of many things? I mean, Marjorie was really bummed out how she got attacked, and just imagining all the things that she's done in the past, from high school students to her peers. So let's talk a little bit more. We're here with Arvina Martin with Emerge Wisconsin Executive Director, and we're talking my favorite subject to find out what's going on, politics. We'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho!
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help.
This holiday season, bring true purpose back to gift giving with CauseCart. When shopping with CauseCart, you aren't just buying a gift. You're supporting artists, nonprofits, and socially conscious businesses. CauseCart is the trusted marketplace connecting shoppers who care with purpose-driven brands that do good for people and the planet. They're committed to positive change, using biodegradable packaging and investing in carbon credits. Now, CauseCart is extending that conscious approach right to your doorstep with a special offer. They're offering free local delivery in Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties until December 19th. It's the perfect way to shop sustainably without leaving home. Taking advantage of the free delivery is easy. Just go to cause-cart.com and choose the pickup option at checkout. So make your holiday giving meaningful with CauseCart, one conscious choice at a time. That's cause-cart.com.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month. right here on AM 950.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Arvina Martin, the first Native American person ever elected to Madison, Wisconsin's Common Council. In 2020, she was elected vice president by her peers. Arvina is an enrolled member of Ho-Chunk Nation, is Stockbridge-Munsee, and has been dedicated her whole career working with and uplifting Native communities. So great to have you on, and so great. Now you're our correspondent in Chicago. This is even more great information. This is awesome. I'm going to unmute you. There you go.
Yay! Here I am.
Yeah, and so much going on. We just hit the tip of the iceberg here, but I really feel like the Democratic Party is really kicking it in now. And we had these veterans put out a video, the 5 or 6 veterans that put out that video, and now we're getting pushback. Like, maybe you should follow orders that are unconstitutional. What do you think?
I mean, from the things that I've looked at, and I will admit that I have not yet looked up the definition of sedition, so I'm not sure. Like we know that Trump likes to throw those words around when they're not valid. Calling everything treasonous when, in order for treason to occur, that the U.S. has to be at declared war with somebody. So anybody right now doing something he doesn't like, it's not treason because we're not at war. But at the same time, the things that those Democratic Congress people were talking about, and these are all people that have served in the military or in the intelligence field, and all they're doing is reminding folks in the military, in the armed services, that they don't have to, and in fact should not follow orders that are illegal, and letting people know about that, because it's been the rationale and the reasons that the US has been bombing Venezuelan boats has been pretty specious. It sounds like things that the decisions that have been made have relied solely on the president's say so. Yep, this boat has drugs, go bomb it, and no further confirmation of that fact, which would in fact be something, in order to bomb a boat could very well be illegal, because you don't know what's actually on that boat. So
right. No doubt. And, it's this Wag the Dog, and people that saw that movie, or I do believe it was a book, where you start a war. So all these social things that you're doing, like the Epstein files, or people aren't looking at, because now we're in a war. So, I mean, this is just so unbelievably transparent that this is what's kind of going on.
Well, absolutely. And he's trying to unofficially, I mean, I don't know if he's going to try to do it officially, but unofficially has changed the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And
Right.
We are currently not at war. So, it doesn't seem surprising that he may want to start one. When he was running the first time for president, he said he loved war. He's definitely, despite this last campaign talking about being a peacemaker, changing the name to the Department of War is a very, very big tell, obviously. So, it's not these leaps that you have to make are not that big. They're not really leaps. They're like little bitty steps over a tiny puddle to connect all of this stuff,
Yeah, definitely. And there's so much to talk about, Arvina. And one of the things that really has been kind of in the forefront, what I've been hearing on mass media, is that how much insurance now is going to be coming up for healthcare. and there's no turning back because of all the cuts that he's given. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening to this country. I mean, how can somebody tear this country apart with no better than what he's been doing?
I mean, there's a lot of people that are complicit in this whole dismantling of our systems of government and rules and things put in place to keep folks in check, to make sure that we are, that one branch is not overstepping its bounds.
Mhm.
That all falls apart when the legislative branch just basically says, well, we're only going to vote on things and approve things that the executive branch agrees with. That takes away one check. And the Supreme Court is doing a lot of the same kind of thing, and they're abdicating their duty to check the executive branch. I mean, and it is a massive failure on both sides. Both the legislative and the judicial side. Part of me wonders if we would be able to get him in check quicker if the United States had a general council meeting they had to call every year.
Oh yeah, this last one was a mild one. That's another form of government in Ho-Chunk Nation that can sometimes really be festive. Let's put it that way. Festive, yes. Removal season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Removal season.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have to, and you get to visit with your relatives while you're doing it. Hooray!
Oh, that one hit home. I mean,
I'm glad I thought of that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I want to ask you a question too, and switch off. We're going to get back to more what's kind of happening. But you have a young person in your life. You have a daughter.
I do.
Now, this last 10 years, can I say, last 9 years have been upside down, and etiquette and all these things. And this is almost like what they think is the norm. What is your vibe from the young ones?
It's interesting. I think in a lot of ways they are a lot more prepared for certain things than older generations are. I mean, obviously things like technology and a lot of young folks are trying to steer clear of social media and things like that. But at the same time, kids have lost a whole year of like developing their social skills, their emotional intelligence, learning how to deal with people. And I think that I think that definitely hurts. And I know that there are studies that have shown that it hurts and has hurt children that lost a year during the pandemic. And I think we're going to see a lot more of the effects of the pandemic for a while in that sense. And I'm not familiar with the statistics, but I know that they're out there and that there are studies that have shown some of this. And so it's an interesting topic of like how they're handling things and thinking that all of this is normal because they've gone through such extraordinary times, between a global pandemic and the potential downfall of democracy in their country that has always been, the leader of the free world. These are massive changes, and it's I like, as a parent, part of me is like, oh, I don't know how to prepare her better for this. I mean, because I've never experienced this either. I remember during the pandemic, she was obviously younger. I remember her saying, one of the things I said a lot to her was, well, like, I can't answer that question for you because I don't know, because it's never happened while I was alive. I've never experienced this before. And I would say, as a way to try to, I don't know, somehow make it seem less scary, is that we're living in historic times, and maybe thinking that would make it a little more exciting. But one night before she went to bed, she was like, Mama, I don't want to live during historic times anymore. And all I could think of was like, girl, yeah, same. Like I'm sick of this, you know, and I
It's just
think
so
that,
bizarre, Arvina.
yeah,
Arvina, is that they have not this generation that went through all this has not had a normal president. I mean, Joe Biden was definitely normal, but they've had bookends of this crazy person.
and that's kind of what they remember is the wildness of Trump. And probably, you know, there's not a lot of flash or like, I mean, craziness that sticks out from a Biden presidency the way it has stuck out during a Trump presidency and between Trump presidencies, with him getting, you know, indicted and eventually convicted on multiple felonies, you know, or him being found civilly liable for the sexual assault on E. Jean Carroll. You know, like this is all brand new ground. And so like what we would consider a kind of normal times during a Joe Biden presidency, you know, because it was kind of more on the boring side, like that, those memories don't stick out the same to them, you know?
Jeez. I just can't. I was a high school teacher for 30 years, and I just wonder for our young ones, you know, what this is not reality, but it is their real reality. And
I mean, hopefully it's not their reality, you know,
right.
Hopefully this is just an aberration.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, we're here with Executive Director of Merge Wisconsin, Arvina Martin, and we'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Time is running out to see Matrilineal Memory by hobby artist Michaela Schaefer at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. This moving exhibition of painting, poetry, and installation art explores memory's fragility and strength, honoring stories passed through generations. The show closes December 13th, so don't miss your chance to experience this transformative work. Visit All My Relations Arts before it's gone. Learn more about exhibition hours and events at allmyrelationsarts.org.
This holiday season, bring true purpose back to gift giving with CauseCart. When shopping with CauseCart, you aren't just buying a gift, you're supporting artists, nonprofits, and socially conscious businesses. CauseCart is the trusted marketplace connecting shoppers who care with purpose-driven brands that do good for people and the planet. They're committed to positive change, using biodegradable packaging and investing in carbon credits. Now, CauseCart is extending that conscious approach right to your doorstep with a special offer. They're offering free local delivery in Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties until December 19th. It's the perfect way to shop sustainably without leaving home. Taking advantage of the free delivery is easy. Just go to cause-cart.com and choose the pickup option at checkout. So make your holiday giving meaningful with CauseCart, one conscious choice at a time. That's cause-cart.com.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulio. A winter storm warning is in effect. Rain changes over to snow tonight with an overnight low of 26. Then Wednesday, cloudy with a high of 29. Eat Local Minnesota restaurants are perfect for any holiday gathering this winter, from friends or family to a work event. Check out the list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants at eatlocalminnesota.com. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We were with Arvina Martin, Merge, Wisconsin Executive Director, and we're just kind of talking it out here with what's happening and how it affects Indian country and our young ones, and it's amazing. I just want to bring this up real quick, Arvina, too. I want to give a great shout out to Rodney Rave, who's running for office, and really excited, and we got to get him on the same day you're on so we can double team him. But what great information we got, our native relatives stepping up there in Wisconsin.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really exciting to see a candidate of his caliber as well. Rodney Rave is a former Ho-Chunk Nation legislator, as so he has experience working in a legislative body. He has experience working at the federal level, but he's also a guy who has worked in the trades. So he knows about how families are fighting to stay in the middle class, how families are fighting to be able to afford everything that their families need. I mean, especially right now with we mentioned earlier how expensive healthcare is going to be. Food prices haven't gone down. And he's a guy who has lived that. He's not a guy who is born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And to top it off, he's Ho-Chunk, so obviously he's amazing. And like I said, if the Ho-Chunk Nation had 2 of our tribal members as members of Congress, like, you will not be able to tell us anything. We are going to be like, yeah, we've got 2 Congress people amongst our ranks, which I think would be pretty amazing, but also amusing. Yeah, my friends will get sick of it quickly, I'm sure. But yeah, it's amazing, and it's really, really important for particularly our young relatives to see. To see that this is something, and that's something that when I ran for Secretary of State in 2018, that was one of the reasons why I did, is because I wanted Native kids, Native girls in particular, but Native boys too. I wanted them to see that this is something that's achievable for them, and to see that these bodies and these positions are ones that we, can be in, and we can run for these offices, and we can contend, and we can fight for them, so I think it's and even the act of putting yourself out there as a candidate, like, no matter the level, that you're inviting a certain level of scrutiny on your life, your professional life, your personal life, like all of it. And that can be scary, and to be someone who is visible, who people can talk to about things that they're really upset about. You hear a lot of that upset, and it can it can be hard. First of all, because especially if you're running for a seat that you aren't the incumbent for, presumably you had nothing to do with why things weren't working, and it can be draining on somebody's like emotional health to hear constant stories of people, we're all experiencing this, with all of the stochastic terrorism of this administration that they're inflicting on us. There's bad news all the time, and we're in a constant state of like hyper aware and hyper vigilant. You can be like that as a candidate because you're visible and you're kind of representing all of the problems that they have, and things can get taken out on you, and you really have to be able to compartmentalize that and saying, this is a person who is struggling and is at the end of their rope, and they're expressing this frustration in the only way that they can at the moment. Like it's so much, it's so heavy to deal with, and it can be heavy. I mean, obviously it's heavier to experience these things, but it can be heavy to hear things about, or things that people are going through that are terrible. Our empathy just goes off the charts. So some even him just putting his name on the ballot is a really big deal, just like Trisha Zunker did,
Right.
just like Jessica Seawright in Milwaukee, the Emerge grad who's from the Keweenaw Bay Indian community. It takes a lot of guts to put your name on the ballot, and that big step should be applauded. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I know he's getting a lot of help from people that we know, but also I think in the beginning he even reached out to you and talked to you about it, and that's powerful because I know of all the experience, and I really love talking about Emerge when it comes to your. I hate to say success rate. There's maybe a better way to say it, but success rate.
Yeah, I mean, in 2025 or 2024, I'm sorry, 2024, Emerge alums in Wisconsin won at a rate of 91%, which is mind-bogglingly high. That is remarkable, and I know that we are not going to hover around 90% win rates forever, but having it that high right now really, I think, speaks to the caliber of training that we do at Emerge, but also speaks to the caliber of applicants and participants. Like these, and since we're in application season, I'm getting ready to do interviews with folks, and it's always such a cup filling moment. The saying, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I refer to things that make me feel better as cup filling moments. And this is really a cup filling moment. Hearing what these women and non-binary folks are doing in their own communities, the things that have led them to this decision is it's not just inspiring, but it gives me hope for all of us, that there are still people out there that are willing to take a stand, that they're willing to stick their neck out, and that they care, that there's still empathy in this world.
That's huge, and I'm glad you said that. And you're getting that firsthand by by these applicants and people that you work with. But uh, that one of the main reasons why I love talking to you is talking about Emerge. And for people that don't know and maybe are just listening to this show for the first time, talk a little bit about the history of Emerge, because I know we have some big players out there that are graduates.
Absolutely. So Emerge is a national training program who has affiliates in 27 states, including Wisconsin, which is the affiliate that I run. And since Tuesday, since election day, let me just tell you about Emerge Virginia and the wins that they had, because Abigail Spanberger, the first female governor of Virginia, is an Emerge alum. The House of delegates, their House of Delegates, 1/4 of them are now Emerge alums. And all 8 alums that ran to flip seats from red to blue won. I mean, they just had such a remarkable, not 91%, but like they made a huge impact. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of being connected to them in this Emerge way. As you were asking, Emerge was founded by a group of women in San Francisco who got together to elect a woman to be district attorney in San Francisco. Ultimately, she won, their candidate won, and this group of women was like, what if we, I think that there needs to be a group that helps train women, because we've got women with all these amazing experiences, but they don't know how to run for office. We should fill that gap. And so they created Emerge, which is the organization that trains, recruits and trains Democratic women and non-binary folks who feel comfortable in female-centered spaces on how to run for office. That was 20 years ago. And the woman that was first elected, or that they were trying to support for district attorney in San Francisco, was none other than Kamala Harris. So,
Wow.
She's kind of we kind of refer to her as the first Emerge alum, but, we also have amazing alums like former secretary and, dare I say, future governor of New Mexico, Deb Haaland. She is an Emerge alum. And Wisconsin has actually quite an amazing history with Emerge, as we are one of the first states to have an affiliate. So we in 2027, 2027, we will be having our 20th anniversary. So that is, we've put over 350 women we've trained over 350 folks. And we have currently, I believe, around 40 serving in various capacities, from local offices, town councils, et cetera, school boards, et cetera, all the way up to our first statewide elected here in Wisconsin, Sarah Godlewski, who is Secretary of State and is currently running for Lieutenant Governor. We also have running for Secretary of State another Emerge alum, Jocasta Zamaripa, who was the first Latina and first openly bisexual person elected to the state legislature. And she is amazing. I love both of these women. They're fierce, they're sharp, and they have empathy and compassion for folks. And we're missing that kind of empathy part in a lot of our electeds, particularly on the other side of the aisle, who are not putting themselves in the shoes of their constituents and making decisions.
Wow, that's amazing. And I want to ask you too. There's only a minute left, but what did people do before Emerge in these kind of organizations? My goodness.
I mean, it was hard for women because these positions were held mostly by men. And so it wasn't hard, or it was hard to find people and be connected to people that had the knowledge to run successful campaigns.
Yeah, really good point. I don't know, Arvina, we got one more segment here, and I don't know. I guess we're going to talk a little hackers.
If you'd like.
I'll let you talk, and I'll listen and get my Kleenex out. But
yeah, keep going. Sorry.
That's all right. Hey, Arvina Martin, Emerge Wisconsin, and big Packer fan. We'll be right back after this short break. Ho!
If you're in need of food resources, Hennepin County is here to help. Food shelves near you are ready with fresh, nutritious food. SNAP remains open. You can continue applying for benefits. If you are expecting or have children ages 0 to 5, WIC can provide even more support. Get connected to free or low-cost food resources near you at hennepin.us/food-help. Again, that address is hennepin.us/food-help.
MNsure is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Looking for health insurance but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance plans. Plus, get help from an expert so you can save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 15th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
This holiday season, bring true purpose back to gift giving with CauseCart. When shopping with CauseCart, you aren't just buying a gift, you're supporting artists, nonprofits, and socially conscious businesses. CauseCart is the trusted marketplace connecting shoppers who care with purpose-driven brands that do good for people and the planet. They're committed to positive change, using biodegradable packaging and investing in carbon credits. Now, CauseCart is extending that conscious approach right to your doorstep with a special offer. They're offering free local delivery in Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties until December 19th. It's the perfect way to shop sustainably without leaving home. Taking advantage of the free delivery is easy. Just go to cause-cart.com and choose the pickup option at checkout. So make your holiday giving meaningful with CauseCart, one conscious choice at a time. That's cause-cart.com.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Oka, hicha, hicha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we are with our friend Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and this is kind of the segment that we here at Native Roots Radio in the Twin Cities eats humble pie. One of the things before we get into this, Arvina, and maybe we can even talk a little longer, no, I'm just kidding, is we got some weather happening here, and we're going to get up to 7 inches here in the Twin Cities area. So how are things looking on your way back from Illinois back to Madison?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think to check yet. But now I'm driving back tomorrow, so the potential for there to be an impact is there. So I better look at that.
Well, we're so much more northern than you, and I always freaked out how much more northern we are than to Madison.
The way the jet stream works, it seems like the air goes like from up there down towards us, though. So I feel like we get weather that you guys get up there like a day later or something. So
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, when we're done here, jump on your phone and check out what the app says, because, you know, it's at that point right now because our weather people here like to go throw out the red alert and freak out, and, you know, and then we'll get 1 inch.
It always, yeah. I suppose that I would prefer to be prepared for 7 inches of snow versus and only get 1, but like there's something that brings out my inner child, you know, about a massive snowstorm. You know, so the other way around too, like I'm not super mad at it, because
right,
especially these days it doesn't seem like we get that many snowstorms, so like a big one is kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I have fond memories of like walking around and, you know, helping people that were stuck with their rear drive cars, and now everyone's front wheel or four wheels, so they don't really need it. But that was a lot of fun when we were young, pushing out cars out of the snowbank, and kind of community in a weird way.
I mean, that is absolutely, you know, one of our kind of last forms of community with random people that we run into is, you know, helping folks in weather situations.
Yeah. Well, I see how I stretched that out before we got into the painful. So let me ask you one thing about the Vikings. Do you think by watching this game that this game is too big for our young 21-year-old quarterback? I mean, he looked really helpless. Packers stopped the run and then went after him.
I mean, he did have a rough go, but, you know, and Oh my God, when I saw his face, I was shocked. Like, I knew he was young, but like he looks like he's 12 years old, you know? That was shocking to me. But I think I feel like it's a chance for him to grow. I mean, here's me trying to put the optimistic spin on everything. But you know, I mean, not optimistic for me as a Packers shareholder. But
Oh,
yeah. But you know, he's a young guy and he's going to have this opportunity to learn, and his opportunity showed up earlier than he probably anticipated. So, you know, uh, maybe I mean, on the bright side, you could look at this as, oh, there's so much opportunity for growth.
well, you
So,
look at, and we always talk about the Packers where they've had, 3 quarterbacks in the last, 20 some years, but each one was on the bench for a while watching things. I mean, Brett Favre was in Atlanta first, and then there was an injury where he was able to start, and then Rodgers was on the bench for a few years watching Brett Favre. So, and then I think the last quarterback was watching Rodgers for a while.
absolutely. I mean, it gave them an opportunity to develop their quarterback brain, their football brain, while being able to practice and stay current and stay strong and grow physically, but also not having to deal with a lot of the the worries about injury. So like their growth has the potential to be a lot more linear, I guess, because there aren't setbacks because you injured your shoulder in last week's game. So it's it's a great I mean, like, these are both great opportunities for quarterbacks, like, to learn in, depending on the way that a particular person learns. One might be better than the other for a particular person, but if you look at it as opportunities for growth, it's it's a lot less sad or scary, like, okay, we're putting all of our faith into this 21-year-old now, but
Mhm.
what if he develops the way we want him to, and he's in 10 years, we still have him at 31, there's still plenty of time,
Mhm.
like that's setting somebody up for like a dynasty and no cares and just, tons of opportunities to focus on other positions because you don't have to worry about your quarterback.
Right. Well, I think he's concussed, the Packers
Oh
concussed
man.
him, so but now the quarterback that's gonna be starting is, former Minnesota Gophers quarterback, so, I mean, he's a rookie too, and so people are fired up to see what he can do, but, yeah, so I put some tobacco out for the Vikings now, but, hey, the Packers, I believe, are playing on Turkey Day this year, is that correct?
Yes, and I didn't know this until yesterday, so I'm glad I realized it. So I can get my plate ready and sit down, plop myself in front of the TV and watch my guys play.
Do you know who they're playing, or do I need to look that up?
Lions.
Oh, yeah, because the Lions have been playing on Thanks-taking. We like to say Thanks-taking on Native Roots Radio, or Takes-giving, or whatever.
Or
Well, you know what I meant.
you're welcome, Dave.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, exactly. And they've been playing for at least 50, 60 years on Thursday, and then, I think the Cowboys were the next to start doing on Thanksgiving. So there was a doubleheader, and now there's another team too. But it's just tradition. I mean, that the Lions play, and the Lions are tough again this year.
I mean, they're not. I know that the NFC Central has kind of flipped in terms of last year's leaders. But that, like, I always watched Packer games with my dad, and he passed in 2019. But and I still feel there's still times that there are football things that happen. I'm like, I got to make sure Dad heard about that, and it's nice
Mhm.
to think of him in that way. But at the same time, crap, I lost my train of thought because I got distracted by thinking about my dad. What was I referring to?
We're talking a little bit about the Packers and what's going on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, I do think it's interesting, first of all, that the traditional taking your welcome day games have been NFC. That's interesting to note. But I know what I was going to say. It's these divisional games that I never think of as being a lock either way, like win or lose.
Right.
There's something about those. I mean, the divisional games, they weigh the most in terms of their playoff chances.
And it used to be called the Black and Blue division back in the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I still think of it as the Black and Blue division, even though we have been less, I mean, maybe Black and Blue for other reasons, but I like that. It makes me happy to see other NFC Central teams doing well, and we can say, yeah, come through the Black and Blue. Like, it doesn't matter because we're gonna get hyped up to play our divisional rivals, and things happen. They're double donk.
Hey, good luck with that. Hey, quick address and way to get a hold of you. We got 10 seconds to get a hold of Emerge Wisconsin.
wi.emergeamerica.org or Arvina, ARVINA, at emergewi.org.
Thank you so much, Arvina, and safe travels back to God's country, and we'll see you next week. Big Teeny Gigi, thank you.
See you. Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow. This is Native Roots Radio.
MNsure is a proud